Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real with Reverend Laura.
I think the problem with emotions comes from us not dealing with them. It comes from not expressing them or waiting to express them until we are so fed up that we blow up, and then our emotions have an exaggerated response for the situation. I think that's where we get into issues with our emotions. But most of us have been taught during our childhood to shut down our emotions or to run or hide from them. We are taught not to cry or express our emotions outwardly, so often that leads to the development of other not so healthy ways of dealing with them. Often society has trained us that certain emotions are bad while others are good. And this can cause us to really be hard on ourselves when we experience a certain emotions that are normal, and when they occur, we become overly concerned about how we are responding to them. And we shut them down because we feel embarrassed or ashamed, or we're put down by others when we express these emotions. And hiding these emotions, covering them up, pushing them down. This is how hidden beliefs develop. Hidden beliefs that affect the outcome of our everyday experience. These hidden beliefs are things that we don't really know that are operating in us, that have developed over time from this holding in our emotional response. And these hidden beliefs, those are the things that often sabotage our lives. Many of us grew up in families that didn't talk about their emotions. Maybe many of us probably grew up in a family that never even talked openly about the problems the family was having. Did your family ever sit around at the dinner table and discuss the challenges that happened for you at school and how you handled them, how you responded to them, the emotions that you felt during them? Did your parents discuss how they solved problems at work or with each other in front of you? Did you talk about emotional responses? Did you talk about the emotions that happened, that you experience on a day-to-day basis, and how those emotional responses to situations that you were experiencing were occurring? I know this wasn't the case for me. I really have a very lovely family. I grew up in a very, very stable home, but my family didn't discuss the things that were going on until they became a very open and very difficult problem. My parents did not argue in front of me. I only ever remember seeing my parents one time have a fight, and it was a shouting match. If they got angry, and I'm sure they had to at some point, I don't ever recall them having much of an argument or a fight about anything. And as a result of this, I grew up with a very strong desire to avoid any situation in which anger was being expressed. I mean, I would run from the situation. Even if I wasn't the angry person, I would leave the situation because it was so uncomfortable for me. I remember I never could stand to watch some of those talk shows that were on where people were arguing with each other, because that arguing meant anger, and anger wasn't something I was going to be around. You know, it wasn't that I wasn't allowed to express emotions. I totally was. I just don't ever recall that we did much expressing of negative emotions. My parents were very loving. They were very demonstrative with their love, but we didn't talk about emotions. I think these unexpressed emotions cause us to develop many of the coping mechanisms that we then have to unlearn. And they lead to all kinds of hidden beliefs that in turn cause us to experience this discord of life. You know, they often lead to these coping mechanisms that can actually turn into addictions and cause detrimental harm in our lives, because we've suppressed something that we're not even aware we're suppressing. And based on a belief we're not even aware it's acting in our lives. And it's not until we start to look at what is going on and what is triggering us to engage in this coping mechanism based on what emotion that we're experiencing. I don't think we can get past the discord that we're feeling until we actually begin to look at this. You know, by facing our emotions and looking underneath of them, we learn how these hidden beliefs originated. Then we can do the healing work necessary to process them instead of hiding from or ignoring them. By embracing all of this variety of emotions, we can uncover our hurts and pains. We can apply forgiveness to the situation, compassion to those involved, and love to help them and ourselves heal from it.
Keeping it real with Reverend Laura.